Jake is physically stronger than I am, right? I drive my body through space with my legs.
Because your body is stronger than my arm. Right? Yeah. I'm the student today.
It's true.
I'm the dummy.
No, you're doing a great job.
Hey guys, it's Jake Mace with JakeMace.com here with my friend Thad Wong.
Hey Jake, good to see you.
And we're here in Chinatown.
We're in Columbus Park here in Chinatown.
In New York City.
New York City, beautiful fall day.
Everyone's playing chess and Chinese checkers over there.
Yep.
Doing some Tai Chi, we saw some Chen style.
Yep.
And we saw some Tai Chi sword and some other interesting Qigong.
And some dancing, don't forget the old ladies dancing. They're critical to any Chinese park.
And we're using the park today for some BAGUA.
We are. So we talked about this idea of wanting to spiral through the body. A big thing that we try and develop also, especially with BAGUA training, with all the spiraling and twisting, is a spiraling independent mobility of the ribs, right? Because this is an area that you could lock up your whole life and you could drive everywhere, walk everywhere, carry things, work on the computer, pick up your kids. You can mobility. Yeah, you can lock up here for decades and function, and eventually you'll be really tight and in pain, right? So we want to open that up. We want that to have mobility. So when I'm piercing, the idea is, feel how the ribs, I think of it like a little spiral staircase. But you can feel it's a ton of body rotation through the ribs, right? I mean, it's let me see if I can do it. It's not this. It's
like if you want to,
it's not a block. It's a spiral. It's
so
like,
do one and stop at the furthest point. So now if you just go forward and back away from me, if you just want to walk a few steps forward, that's how staggered my hands are on your back.
Yeah.
One side of your ribs is over here, and one's over here. A good amount of separation.
And martial arts wise, what does that mean?
That now I can be able to hit you. But
Exactly. Exactly. But it also means I haven't overcommitted at all, right?
Sure.
So we want to program in what's the maximum amount of spiral I can get with my upper body. Any more, I'll start to break.
Yeah.
You're gonna lock out. You're gonna break my elbow probably, right?
Or you're just in a bad position.
I'm in a terrible position. As soon as I'm in a bad position, if I need to move again, I need to step. Now I have room to play, right? The steps give me the space to make up for the difference. Cool. But that idea we see repeated all over. Spiraling mobility of everything from the quad up, including independent articulation of all the ribs, stable and eventually stable driving forward force in the legs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so show us how that driving forward, that linear stepping works.
Good. Okay, so we're gonna start formally the way we start all of our pieces of material. So we're gonna start in a wuji this way. You can also do this one starting this way with the feet forward. In the beginning, I recommend doing this way because you don't have to adjust your feet then at all at the beginning.
Okay.
It should be a nice, easy opening, maybe about 90 degrees altogether between the feet, but you can also just let them kind of you're not forcing it into like a first position from ballet or something like that. It's just easy. All your wuji alignments are still there. There's a little bend in the knees, but a feeling of extension. The tail sinks. Mingmen, the lower back is open. There's a slight drive forward of the ribs. The head withdraws and lifts as the crown lifts. Arms just hang relaxed and heavy off the shoulders. So as you inhale, you're going to draw the hands out and up, slowly rotating the palms up. So as you pass this level of the shoulders, and if you look from the side, it's not arms sideways, which would break the integrity of my back. The arms are slightly forward so I can keep the back feeling open and rounded. This should all in theory be one continuous inhale, and then as you start to press, here's your exhale. You're gonna let the legs bend slightly more as the hands sink. Then you're gonna shift your weight subtly into the left leg as you twist the left ribs forward to cover with the left. And as you do, you're gathering with the right hand. It's gonna slowly gather here at the base, and then as you step the right foot forward, you pierce. And we end up in old monk holds up the alms bowl, which is a basic posture that we hold in Bagua. So this is essentially Bagua's equivalent of Santi. Good, okay, so we're gonna look at a few things here that we're gonna use Jake here as a way to see some common things that we wanna shift. So, I know Jake has a strong Shaolin background because I can see his body wants to go into Lohans. I see the Lohan influence because I had it myself.
Be more like
I know, no. Bagua doesn't, we're not gonna do that.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna just make a few little corrections. We're gonna want this foot to be more forward. We're also definitely gonna want to shift your weight back and let your hips drive more to the front. Remember what we talked about, forward intent of the hips.
Mm-hmm.
The drive of your body can't be so much that it takes you to the side. And this is really clear, right? So just push it, I'm just gonna give you a little weight. Now fold your front claw and drive your hips to face me. No, okay, yeah,
the
now,
other way here?
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, which way feels better? Now go the other way, open. It's caught. Now come back to the front, goes to the left.
Yeah.
You feel it? Right? So that's one way, just basic way. Also, and this is something that took me a long time to program out, you're stepping too wide. And that's a habit from our style too. We want to take these big steps, but in Bagua, in the linears, it should feel comfortable, actually, very natural. For those of you at home, you do want to make sure, and actually Jake does have this, but that your heels haven't crossed the line. So there should be at least, at the maximum, 1 foot's width distance.
Meaning you shouldn't be here.
Exactly. Between the two heels.
Right.
And over time you'll feel it. Once you cross, it feels like you're on a balance beam.
Sure.
Yeah. The weight, okay, now the weight is going to be a little bit more in the back leg than the front. There you go, but like barely 50% now. So now we're going to see there's these counter spirals that should be here. The drive of his legs should feel like he's pushing into his heel to drive into his front leg. His hips want to go this way. But his ribs are going to have to go opposite this way. Oh, but you can't let it take the hips. So he should feel a diagonal stretch through the body, and you're going to let your upper body lean into it a little bit more. So look at, you'll see from the side, it's actually not vertical, it's not here. If I hold my weight back a little bit in my legs and I'm stable, it allows me just a slight lean of the spine. And then I have a clean conduit of power from my back foot through to my front hand. Right? Here I'm actually a little broken my lower back. It seems upright, but actually I'm right here, I've lost it. I've crinked in my spine, I've cut off Mingma. So if I sink the tail instead and drive forward with the body and the ribs, now it's open and rounded. And now I feel it, it's clean from the back of the leg up through to the front of the knee. Both hands want to drive forward, and again they vector to this vertical line right in front of your spine. So this is old monk holds up the alms bowl, and you can just hold this position. You can hold it for, we recommend work up to doing it for 9 long breaths on each side. Easy.
So treat this kind of as a meditation posture.
Absolutely. A standing meditation. So now,
where do we go from here?
From here, we're going to go right into the stepping and piercing. So we have 3 steps involved when we step linearly: a half step, a step through, and a follow step. And we'll do them all together. The wedge of the arms is going to stay together, and they're just going to do that same piercing action you did standing, but now you're going to coordinate it with the step. So as you half step the front foot straight forward, it's going to toe out slightly, and the whole wedge of the arms is going to drive forward. Both hands drive forward slightly more. And this is just a moment in time usually, so you wouldn't really...
like a transition.
Yeah, you wouldn't really stop here. Then you're going to draw your back foot through, and you want to feel a connection between your left foot and your left hand. So as your left foot drives through, the left hand pierces underneath. And we step through with the left, and then the final step is called a follow step, where the right foot follows up behind you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is a tricky step. If you drag your follow step, then it's going to pull it to the side. You want to avoid, a lot of people want to bring their follow step behind them like this.
But keep it stable.
Or turn it this way. The follow step should feel like it has the potential to be a knee or a kick, but it's just a step.
I mean, it's kind of like a wrestling stance. No wrestler stands like this. They're always open right here because it's more stable.
And we're kind of here in the middle.
Right.
Especially because we value stepping. We want to be always available to step. So we don't have a clean line to step here.
Right.
Right? And we're stuck if we get too far forward. So we want to be in this middle place where it feels like it's adjustable, right? Like a boxer. It looks more like a boxer.
So can you show us about like 4 or 5 steps of how it transitions?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just do it smooth. So we'll just run it. So it goes half step, drive the wedge forward, step through pierce, follow step, and reset. Again, half step, drive the wedge out, step through pierce, follow step. Half step, step through, follow step. Half step, step through, follow step. Now, ultimately, the way you're stepping here should be driven by what we call a mud step. Go to my teacher's website to learn more about the mud step.
About mud stepping?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called mud steps, but that's the quality of stepping that has this continuous forward drive. Now, when you run out of space, we'll turn. We'll turn again with Old Monk. So we're gonna do what's called a kobu, where we turn the front foot in from the hip. And as we do, we're gonna teacup the left hand overhead like this. Like it's covering. Yep. Then you're gonna draw the right foot in, and now your right hand's gonna wrap. And now look, we're very similar to the opening, so now as we step out, we pierce over the top and we're back in Old Monk.
We can go get me.
Yep. And now, no, wait.
Again,
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, you would. Okay. But I want to, so put yourself in the position. Good. Now, a little narrower at the back. Good. Front. Hold into this claw. Yeah. Like headlights. These ribs. There you go. Feel it? It's a little leaner, but you go right into the leg. Exactly. Now we go back this way. Half step, step through, follow step. Half step, step through. Half step, step. Half step. Again, when we want to turn, we would go over the front foot, turn. We're technically doing a BAGUA or swing step action with this right foot as we turn, but then it's going to step out straight as we pierce and follow step. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting, you can see that so if you guys notice when Jake did it, he has a little bit of a habit where he still wants to come out a little with his hips. So this is a practice that can clean that up. Because you don't have to worry about choreography, right? Maybe yeah, right? It should feel like it goes down and out, right? So you gotta, it should be relaxed. It needs a softness, right? Because when I meet you, the tenser I am, the more you can feel where my body is, right? If I can stay soft, then I can move in a way that it's harder for you to feel. So we want a feeling, it's a balance, again, right? It can't be limp, it can't be tight. It's got to be relaxed, but extended and intended outward and forward. So there's an intense quality of piercing out beyond my fingertips, but not so much that it causes tension. I have to try and relax into it. Then when you want to close, it's pretty easy. You're going to half step the front foot just like you did before. So the front foot is going to half step and open. And then as it does, the hands just drop. Now you're going to feel like you stay low and sat in your quad as you pull the back foot up. So you're still low, the knees are still bent. And then as you exhale and finish pressing is when you straighten the legs. So that's a hint that the whole time you're practicing, you should feel sat. That doesn't mean you have to be crouched in your lowest to the legs. In fact, sometimes forcing yourself into too low of a stance will it'll fuck up your alignment. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Sitting the quad is a quality, right? It's that feeling of settling and sinking the tailbone down, and it can only sink your body maybe half an inch, but it does what it's supposed to do.
So people out there who are into BAGUA,
yeah,
and they want to practice this, would you have them do this a few times for a few minutes as a warm up before class begins?
Sure.
Or would this be an exercise for class?
This is exercise for class.
Yeah.
We train this. The whole point is you can just run it on lines, because the point is of the internal martial arts is as much about reprogramming your nervous system as anything else. And that's just repetition. No way around it. So this is a way to loop through these repetitions over and over and over, like, okay, every time I step, oh yeah, when I step with my left foot, that funny thing happens. So let me fix it on the next one a little bit, right? Like, it's a laboratory. So we take out the complexity of maybe a more advanced form, but within that simplicity, now we can let go of thinking choreography and just think body dynamics, alignments, connections, right? You could even think applications within that simplified form.
And so when we started out today training, we talked about the standing position of Young BAGUA. And what would you call that?
Wuji. That's just standing wuji, which is pretty common for many internal arts, right?
And then the stepping we just did, what would you call that?
Linear. This is linear piercing.
Linear piercing.
Yep.
Okay.
You could also argue that this particular posture that we did is Sparrowhawk penetrates the forest, right? It's that posture put on repeat.
And then what is the old man?
Old monk holds up the alms bowl is the opening.
Okay, so the opening is Old Monk holds the alms bowl, but then when we transition and do it, it's the Sparrowhawk
Exactly.
pierces the
Sparrowhawk penetrates the forest.
penetrates the forest.
Yeah. You could argue that Sparrowhawk penetrates the forest has a slightly tighter composition of the hands here, and that maybe Old Monk has a little bit more vertical split.
But they're very close.
But I mean, right? They're basically the same position. What it means is that what defines the whether it's Old Monk or Sparrowhawk is not the end position. It's how you get there. If I get there like this over top, or like this with more of an active pierce, but still over top, that's Old Monk, right? If I get there like this, where I squeeze my body through and pierce
That's
underneath, Sparrowhawk. So it's the transition. It's the
Because the Old Monk is holding the alms bowl,
yeah.
asking for donations. He's not throwing it in your face.
He's
Where
not.
The Sparrowhawk is shooting into the forest.
So the photograph of these movements looks almost identical, but the energetic quality, the feeling of doing them, and the way that they're applied is different, actually. So if we want to take the opening movement of the form, as the punch comes in, my first deflect here is this movement of twisting and shearing. It's important here that I'm actually not actively pressing away, especially if I press above the elbow. I'm opening the door for Jake to come in.
You're
this way.
trying to redirect and strike at the same time.
Well, yes, but I think that it's helpful. Don't worry about the redirect part. If I keep my elbow heavy
You're going for the strike.
and I shear your arm and I just think about poking you in the eyes, the shear happens by itself. I don't need to worry about it, right?
Cool.
Like in a just a basic explanatory way, like if you just hold this as a line, if I have my arms in a wedge and I just walk, right?
It'll redirect on
yeah,
its own.
Exactly. I don't need to think as soon as I start to do that, I'm giving you energy that you can loop back onto me. As I step in, it's important that I don't let go here, right? So that idea of the retreating hand not retreating is critical.
Trying to
if
link
I
the
go
moves
like
together.
this, I've just opened up. So what I have to do is I have to stick to it. This has to feel like it's going to stay connected as this one comes into pierce. So really, right, the pierce comes right through, and this is the way we usually like to practice piercing, right through the center line up top. So I'm not getting used to piercing offline. I'm working against what would potentially be a taller opponent, and when I get this, I know I'm potentially knuckle deep with my fingers into his eyeballs.
And you could change that for a palm strike, a fist,
Oh, yeah.
or a pierce,
Yeah,
or a fingertip.
yeah, exactly, right? Basically the compassionate way to do that, if you want to poke someone right in the eyes, right? Just turn it into a drilling fist.
Exactly.
Right? But open your hands and you do the exact same thing. We have the cover and shear, and then they come over top. Now this can have a smacking quality.
So you can pierce or you can smack.
We could do, yeah, it has a flick, pierce, smack. All of it is is potentially
And
available.
what do you call this?
This is still old. It's still pierced. It's still Old Monk holds up the alms bowl.
Old man holds the alms bowl.
Sorry, Old Monk.
Old monk.
So he's very comfortable in himself, and basically the quality of it is like an old guy being like, "Give me some money," right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna. If you go away, okay, fine, but I'm totally no shame.
Sure. And you can
Right?
do it as a pierce
Here,
or
this
as
is a pierce
smack.
or a smack.
Show us one more time.
Okay.
Can you do this about 3 times?
Sure.
Let's see that. So. Good. Yep. Good. Nice.
Another way that we like to use it is the Old Monk is very useful as kind of a last-minute defense, where we emphasize the smacking part more to deal with incoming hits. So if the hit comes in and maybe I don't see it very well, I can actually step back and use Old Monk, and look what it does. It puts me right on line to pierce.
I have no range to hit you because I'm out of your range.
Yeah, and I've started to take you offline, right? I've turned you. So so this is super useful for us as just a way to meet, and this is a good common bridge because in some ways it's kind of equal. So we use this bridge a lot as a way of working with the techniques. So once we're here, then we can see a direct application of the stepping linear piercing. Sparrowhawk penetrates the forest. So we meet here. Now once I meet, I actually want to make sure that I continue my momentum to drive through. When you're working with an opponent, there's many times adjustment steps that happen. So this may not drive forward as much, but it needs to have a pierce. This little moment here of this slight pierce with the right hand is absolutely necessary. And I need to do it in such a way that I coordinate the step so that if he doesn't resist in some way, he's going to get it in the nose or the eyes. So as I come in, the arm that's already connected to me is naturally going to want to push away as I go to poke to the eyes. So as I feel his arm starting to push out to create that opening, Sparrowhawk penetrates the forest, steps through, and drills right away. Right, and you can see right here, this is potentially here. Again, to turn it into a fist, right? You're set up for Bungtran from Shingi, very, very nicely. But
So you're betting on the fact that when you hit me with this, I'm going to push into it, which leads you to that.
yeah, exactly. Which means that's why the first pierce has to be there, right? Because if I just meet it and sit, there's no reason for you to push out.
That's right. From here.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do that to start. What triggers it is this.
Right. Now it's going up.
So yeah, you're exactly so. As I go to pierce, up, and then as soon as I feel it open, I step right through.
Do you mind showing us that about 3 times?
Sure.
Okay,
So,
here we go.
first one. Yeah. So you gotta see it coming in. There we go. That's it. See, when you push, it works perfect. Yeah, that's it. Feel the timing of it, like right when you push, and that's what makes it feel really fast. Is because it slips underneath. If we go slow motion too, again, this idea of non-retreating in hand is key. That's not. Yeah, just give me some first. You can feel. Well, it's not the same.
Yeah, you won't be able to, and you won't be fast enough to get that.
No, never. But if I just stick and shear, when did the transfer happen?
Right.
You don't feel the change, right?
Sure.
It feels like I'm doing this to you. Right? It's the entrance is really hard to feel.
Well, that's, I mean, what I tell my students is the goal of any martial artist is not speed or strength, but it's the timing is the most important part.
Timing's critical.
Yeah.
Sensitivity, timing, relaxation, not brute strength and power, especially from a BAGUA perspective.
Yeah.
Let's look at one other variation off of Old Monk to take it one step further.
Okay.
Because the logical question from here is, it's not really a finishing point of the application because we still have this hand to think about. And, you know, you can tell Jacob's trait, it's waiting, right? He's being very cooperative, but in reality, he's going to not want to get pierced or punched in the face.
Well, I'm the student today.
It's true.
I'm the dummy.
No, you're doing a great job. So
you.
as he pushes that hand out of the way, exactly. Just to mention, this is one instance where the slight smack of Old Monk might be really nice, because when I give it when I give it that angle, it forces him to intercept going this direction.
So now you could hit me, but it's also a setup.
Yeah, it's both true and false.
And when your setups are attacks, it's the best.
Exactly.
Where do we go from here?
So from here, as he's pushing out now, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna need to get above his elbow, wind him to the outside, and then we hammer fist to the back as he passes. This is called jump. Oh, what's that?
Why did I fall like that?
Jacob was asking what made him fly. He's right. Part of it is the hook of the foot as I step in. When I step in, I also need to make sure it's not just like my arm's reaching. If I reach with my arm, I've just crossed, and Jake just shifts forward and pushes right through my middle. Yeah, or this one, just push and seal it to you.
Sure.
Right? He's gonna cross me. We never wanna cross our arms this way. So the way you get your arm over there without crossing is by using your body. This kind of looks like hide flower underleaf, this transition moment, right? It has that quality to it. I want to get up under the elbow. Now I do step here, but I'm not necessarily super holding him in, but there's a slight sense of kobu in this leg to hook into his knee.
And someone's gonna ask, why can't I just hit you? But I have no power in this hit right
Yeah,
now.
well, and this is a frozen moment in time.
Yeah, exactly.
And another thing that we're doing is, that's harder to see on the video, is we're shearing along his arm here above the elbow. Yeah, sorry, we'll go this way. We're shearing along his arm above the elbow. So when I stepped in, it goes like this.
Yes.
So the shear pushes him up. Jake is physically stronger than I am, right? So if I come in this way and push, if I try and it's a terrible idea.
So how are you combating that?
Okay, so that means I can't lift with my arm. What it means is, back to BAGUA. I drive my body through space with my legs.
Because your body is stronger than my arm. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here. And
actually anybody's body is stronger than anybody else's arm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So use the body.
If you got to organize the body, right? But you feel that slide is this sneaky thing.
Mm-hmm.
So really what I'm doing, I'm wanting to seal one foot in place and then twist him against the bad part of his stance and up. And then not only does he stretch all this out, so the other thing is that it's particularly nasty with Zhang Fei beats the drum, because right when you're most stretched out, like a dry twig, whack, I snap.
And when you're hitting with that fist, you call that what?
Zhang Fei beats the drum.
Let's show this 3 times with no talking.
Okay.
Medium speed.
Medium speed.
So folks can see it.
Okay.
Tell you what, it's taken every bit of athleticism for me not to do this. Watch. This is where I want to go. Go ahead. I just want to go right there. But I'm trying to stay up on my feet.
Oh!
Good.
So we turned it, maybe it got a little more into throw there. And what does that end up looking like?
Our BAGUA
Right?
turn.
So millstone is like the end point of a throw.
Sure, absolutely. You have one more alteration of this that's also very tricky.
Yeah, we have another one that's called Golden Cicada Sheds its Skin. So we set it up a similar way, where we're smacking off to the side. We want to come to the side, and now as we come through, we actually tie.
Oh, now I'm beat. Checkmate. In this finish, you're here.
Yep.
And you're keeping that arm, and not twisting me down.
Exactly.
And control me. Then help me. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see that a couple times.
Okay. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And that's how you drop somebody without
Killing
them
them.
having any hands to help them fall.
Yeah, you got to help them down.
Show us from this side one time.
But in reality, right, the follow through a lot of times. would
Yeah,
just
it's
be
that
like,
turn.
Yeah, you
Even your glasses can't contain that turn. That's pretty good. That was a good catch by the way.
Thank you. Thank
So again, if we're here, there, I'm blocking this. You're using my power against me to twist me down to the floor. You got me.
Just tie you up and then.
Exactly. Well, I know folks out there are going to want to see you do these two moves in full speed and slow-mo. Experience today.
Thanks, Jake.
I love
Me
being
too.
in New York. I love visiting this city. I'm really comfortable in Arizona where I'm at, but nothing like New York, you know, to visit especially. And
Yeah, has a unique energy.
yeah, we got to train martial arts in Chinatown. I'm happy for the break.
Yep.
And thanks for all the lessons about BAGUA, not just the techniques, but the fighting application, a little bit of the history and spirituality, and the fine-tuning fundamentals.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
And for people that are in New York, they can come see Thad Wong, not just for BAGUA, but for fighting, for movement, the history.
Yeah, you can use it for rehabilitation. Yeah. Basically, if you want to sum it up, right, it's a practice that should improve your life. Right? It should make you live a better life.
But how can folks find out more about you? You said email.
Yeah, and really, if they want to find out what I'm doing, the organization that I'm a part of, Internal Arts International, is probably the best.
It's called Internal Arts International.
Internal Arts International. Yeah, there's a kind of a local branch, New York Internal Arts.
And what's their website?
InternalArtsInternational.com.
Okay, and folks can email you at thadwongshaolin.
No, NewYorkShaolin@gmail.com.
NewYorkShaolin@gmail.com.
Yep.
I'll put it down there.
Okay.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for thrashing me.
Oh, my pleasure.
I hope
Thanks
that
for
you
being
guys.
thrashed.
Thank you. Hope that you guys got something out of it because I didn't take these falls for nothing. You know. One thing I want to ask you too before we go is when you wake up in the morning time, what kind of things do you train first thing in the morning?
I do a Taoist longevity set called Dao Yin, which is basically like a self-massage set to help regulate the qi dynamic. And
maybe
then,
some breathing added into that. And
well, it's part of the set.
Right.
It's like part meditation, part self-massage. It's very
Sure.
common, very common. And right now, then my daily morning qigong set is called a tiangan, which means heavenly stem. So it's a set of 18 different postures that open up the spine, which is the heavenly stem, and access spiraling power between the spine. My teacher wrote a book on it. If you want to read about it.
So meditation, qigong in the morning for you.
Yeah.
And how about diet, like drinks or foods? What do you do for that in the morning? When you first wake up,
always
is
warm.
it drink or is it
First
qigong?
thing, hot water.
Hot water before qigong.
Yeah, first thing I put in my body is hot water, and then I like to do qigong, and then I eat, and warm food. Hot cereal is good. I like hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah.
You know, but it should be warm.
Okay. And then after that, it's the fight time. No, just kidding.
No, then it's the fun time. Then it's the
It's the
teach
fun
time. Then
Yeah,
it's the teach time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great to meet you. I love having you in the videos.
Yeah, nice
Guys,
to see you again.
Comment down below what you guys think about Thad's teachings today, and I'll put links on the screen, bam, 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 to the other videos, including the vlog, the Wu Ji standing, and the piercing of his Liang style of Bagua.